Mesachta Sanhedrin Daf Nun Amud Aleph. We're starting from Memtes Amud Beis, and we're starting like 11 lines from the bottom. Tanya Namehachi. Tanya Namehachi. We're going to bring now a brayso to prove that by chalitza there's no, the way the Mishnah enumerates it. It's not. It doesn't have to be specifically that way. There's no mukdim and mu'ucha. You can have the later one before the earlier one. The seder of how the chalitza went. So we said yesterday, how did the chalitza go? That first, the woman would say he doesn't want to be meyav me, and he's going to say. Then he goes and he says, "Lo chafatz l'lakachta." She, I don't want to take her. And then she takes off his shoe. Then the next point is she spits. And then she says, so shall be to a person who doesn't want to build a house for his brother. So they gave you the whole Seder, but it could be reversed. It could be anything that's out of sequence. It's still going to be good.
He said yesterday,
yeah, it doesn't matter. Right. And it's when it comes to the Mishnah, even though the Mishnah wrote a specific Seder, you don't have to follow it. And we're going to bring out Tanya Nami Hachi. Here, it's like, if you go down the wide lines, Memtes Amud Beis, 4 lines downward. On base, 4 lines go down, 4 lines down. Tanya Nami Hachi, it's at the end of the line. From the wide lines, go. You see Tanya Nami Hachi, 4 lines down?
It should be Tanya Nami Hachi, should be over here somewhere.
You go down 5 lines, from 3, 4, 5. The 5th line, at the end of the line. Tanya Nami Hachi, we'll link the brayso similarly. The same thing. Kima shehidim chalitza, kikar kikla chalitza. Whether he didn't say the right seder, whether he changed from the right seder. Let's say he did the kikar before the chalitza. Because it says, what's the first thing? First she's chaletzes nale, and then she spits. Even if it was done the reverse, mashas what was done is done, and it's fine. And he says it's coming also to exclude this case that there's no, you don't have to follow the Seder. If you don't go into the Seder, it's not ma'akev. Where do we see that? It's not. We learned in the Mishnah. Kohen Gadol Mishamish, the Kohen Gadol served in the Avodas HaKodesh with the Shmeina Kelim, with the 8 begodim. The Kohen Hedyet, the Abba. He used the 4 begodim. And what are the begodim? B'chseines, the long shirt, they went over to the bottom of the body. B'michnosayim, the pants. B'mitzlaf is the hat. B'avnei the gartel. Moishalin Kohen Gadol, the Kohen Gadol added 4 more begodim. The choshen, you know the choshen, the breastplate. The ephod, there was an apron, a white apron. Umi'il, overcoat. Yeah, but tzitz, and they had the tzitz on the forehead. No, we're not talking about tzitzis now. About the tzitz. The tzitz means the plate on the forehead. Okay, but Tanya, we learned from Abraham. How do we? Where do we learn out that the kohen shouldn't put on any other beged before the pants? Shanama, because it says the first one that should touch the flesh is the pants. The linen pants should be directly on the flesh. So that's the first beged. But Tana, my time hakmil. Why did the Tana choose first the shirt, the long shirt that went? Yeah, the ksenis before the pants. The pants is the first one. I think one of the shim the akadmi because in the pasuk it says ksenis first. Ukra my time akadmi. So why in the pasuk did they put the shirt first? Says the Gemara because the ksenis goes down the whole guf. The pants only starts in the middle of the guf. So therefore he said the ksenis first. Now he says, we learned in the Mishnah that the Abba Mises Bezdin starts min hachamor el hakal. The Tanakama learned one seder, and Rabbi Shimon Gamliel learned a different. Let's start with the Tanakama. Skila is the hardest. Seifer is second, Herek, third, Chenek is fourth. Says the Gemara, Skila chamurim and Seifer. Now he's going to tell you a raya why skila is more harsh than seifer, hedek, and chenek, and the same thing. Why the seifer is more than hedek and chenek. He's going to go to each one. Skila is more chamad than seifer. She can eat now. Lemegad avedis gelinam. Skila. Who gets skila? A person who was not gescholten, that maybe she cursed Hashem, or he served by the zara. What kind of a chomer is? Is it? Shekin poshet yod beika. He mamish was koyf beika, and then Mudas Hashem. He went against you say this of Yiddishkeit? So Megadev, so that's how you know Skila is such a shvera punishment, because the Aveda, it goes according to the Aveda. The Aveda is that he goes against the Yisayis of Yiddishkeit. He doesn't believe in Hashem. He's a Kaifa Beika. Says you want to have a Seifa Chamura. She came in the Bas Kohen. She's in so a Bas Kohen that was Mazana. She gets a Seifa. So what's the big deal? What my Chomer? So you want to she came Chaleles Esavia because she's hurting the father. So over here he says that it's not just it's not just for her. She's the father was a Kohen. He always got all the kibbudim first, but once he has a daughter that was Mazana, he loses those kibbudim. So it's harmful to the father. That's what it says. Here, he gam goyramis loy nezek. He's not called up first. Mashenke, but Pesha Yadbi Kaina, he's a chita goyram nezek. But by Kaifamik, he's not causing other people harm. Yeah, but he's not. He doesn't get the kibbudim to Zimun. Dafka Koyen. So the Sefer Torah Dafka Koyen for him. So you might have Kasavri Abana. The Chacham hold Nesua Yoitzel Sefer. A married woman who a Bas Koyen who was married and she committed adultery. She goes to Sefer, which is not the same as a Nesua Bas Yisrael. A Nesua Bas Yisrael, a married regular Yisraelis who committed adultery, she gets chenek. But a Nesua Bas Kohen, which is on a higher level of kedusha, she gets sefer. Beloy arusa, but not arusa. Arusa is even worse. Beloy arusa, arusa gets skila. He says, "Bas arusa ain't nash b'sefer, elo b'skila." Just like arusa Bas Yisrael. Right, but nevertheless, he says because she's still in her father's house. So the bezoyin is here. He says because why? I had it before, but he says that it causes father. It causes the father agams nefesh, and he also doesn't get and she's in the father's house. So, and you said arusa is a high degree of a punishment because she causes more tsar. So, and what do we say? What's the punishment? Beskila shmamina skila chamur miseifa. Because arusa again, a nesua bas Yisrael gets chenek. A nesua bas kohen gets seifa. Arusa gets skila. So that means arusa, which is the harshest one, gets the harder punishment. I'm just going to try to find it. Rashi says, "Let me see." Oh, okay. It doesn't bring it down here. Let me see. Okay, let me move. Okay, Zakti Yimada Skila Chamur Misayev. Skila is more chamur than herek. Where do we see that? Because who gets skila? Somebody who cursed Hashem. Somebody who was mamish kaifa beika. My chumra. What's the chumra? Kedamorim, like we said, that he's kaifin amunas Hashem is not kaifa beika. In fact, you want to add an abasayv chumra. Herek is more chumra. Shekain and nitan lanche ir nedachas, because the whole city gets punished with cherev when they serve avodah zarah. My chumra, what's the chumra? Says Gemara shekamamayinan avad. A yochid that's over David Zara, all he gets punished with skila. A rabbi, when it comes to Yer Nedachas, we said it's a bigger punishment. Why? Chutz from this that he's getting killed, herek, we destroy his money too.
What happens to the money?
They burn it. She goes outside. Maves shadad by Tishrei gam amdim es kol yechusham. We're not allowed to have enough of it. We have to burn it all. Everything. We get rid of everything. You can't have enough. No, nobody could yashin it. No. What? The Ir Nedachas, they get killed b'sayif. But so we want to say Saif is stronger than Skila because a single person that does Avodah Zarah, he only gets Skila. Yeah, but Eir Nadachas get killed with the sword. But in addition, we see it's strong, more severe that we get rid of the Nechasim also. So you said which koyach of which sin?
It's a question. He's saying.
So he says you can't prove. You wanted to say that Skila is stronger than Herek. We already came to the conclusion Skila is stronger than Sefer. But from Arusa goes from Sefer to Skila, goes to a higher level. But how do you know that Skila is stronger than the next one, than Herek, than Sayev? Says the Gemara, because we said which is such a severe sin, they get Skila. Says the Gemara, no, Saif Ir Nedachas gets Cherev, and must be more severe because the Mamoinam is also destroyed. Says the Gemara, who's going to get a more severe punishment? Whose sin is more severe? The one that encouraged everybody to sin, or the one who actually did Avodah Zarah? The answer is the one that encouraged. He's a mason. He's Madiach. He's a Madiach. Have you ever Madiach? Yes, right? It's more severe. But Tanya Madich Yanedach is Beskila. We said the Madichim, who are more, it's a much more severe sin than the Nidach, than the ones that actually did Avodah Zarah. The Madichim are getting Skila. The Nidach is getting Cherev. Zaraya Skila is Shvera for Cherev. Okay, Zag the Yimad Skila Chamurim and Chenek. It says Skila is, now he's going to the next one. The third, so far we took off Skila is more severe than Sreifa, because we know by Arusa she goes from Seifa to Skila, and we said Skila is stronger than Herek, because we said Skila, a Herek gets, I'm sorry, how? Because the Madiach is the one that encouraged everyone to do sin, is a greater sinner, and he gets Skila, and the Nidach gets Cherev, which is a smaller sinner. So you know already Skila is stronger than Herek. Now, how do you know Skila is stronger than Chenek? Says Gemara.
Chenek is by Nesuya.
Chenek is by a Bas Yisrael Nesua that committed adultery. She gets Chenek. Bas Yisrael, not a Bas Kohen.
Yeah, I said
married one. That committed adultery. Skila Chamur Mechanek, Shekein Nitain, Lemegalav Levav David Zecham. Who gets Skila? Somebody who cursed Hashem. Somebody who's over Avodah Zarah. It's Keif Beika. My Chum Kedam, like we said before, he's a Keif Beika. Somebody who hits his father and mother, he gets chenek. Because they're covered, it says covered, and it says in Mishlei, covered is Hashem, respect Hashem with all your wealth. So you see the Torah is comparing the covered Savicha to the Eivishter. So it should at least be equal to. He's saying it should at least be equal to Skila. I mean, to the case of Megadif, because Megadif is empty. From this, that they took Arusa Basisol and they elevated her to a higher punishment. Arusa is on a higher level because she's shaming the father because she's still in the father's house. So she should get more severe than a Nesua who's only by the husband, right? So a Nesua gets chenek. And Arusa, who's supposed to get a higher punishment, what does she get? Skila. Is taken out. Arusa goes mechanik l'skila. Shmamina skila chamura. So you already have a raya from Arusa basisol over a Nesua basisol that Arusa gets a more severe punishment to skila, versus a Nesua that committed adultery that gets only chenek. So you know Skila is harder than chenek. Seifa Chamur Mesayef. Now we're going to go to the second one. Seifa, how do we know it's more stronger than Cherev? Shekenit Labaskain Shazinsa. Because who gets Seifa? A Baskain that was Mezana. Oh my, what's the Chumash? Sheken Chalalas Savia. Because Arusa, a Baskoyen, she's Mechal the father. I can't kicking Zaina Kibudim anymore. Like Kaim will get the first, all the first Kibudim. So the Gemara Adarabah, Saif Chamor. Chenek is more harsh. Shekei Nitin L'Anshei Anadachas. That the Anshei Anadachas gets Saif, gets Cherek. Umay Chomer, Shekei Mamein Avad. That chutz from getting killed, their possessions are destroyed. So that's it. So you might have no problem. Let me show you how. Nema Aviyah B'Skila. It says the word Aviyah by Skila. I'm sorry. Yeah, by Skila. What does it say? It says Uskalu Anshe Idam Ba'avonim. It's talking about by Anaya Amurasa. That over there it says Uskalu Anshe Ha'ir Ba'avonim. V'Meisik Yasa Naved B'Yisol Liznais Beis Aviyah. It says. Then it says Nema Aviyah B'Sreifa. By Bas Koyen. That's Shazinsa. It says Obas Ish Koyen Kisechel Liznais Es Aviyah. It says again Aviyah. In Chalal B'Eish Tisara.
No, Bas Kohen is a
Yeah. Bas Koyen Shazinsa now.
Not the Nesua.
What? No. This is Nesua. Before we were talking about by night Amurasa, we were talking about a Yisrael that she gets Ba'avonim.
No.
She gets Skila versus a Nesua or Bas Yisrael who committed adultery gets Chenek.
No.
And now there it says Aviyah. And then by a Bas Koyen who could be a Nesua even, a Bas Ish Koyen, doesn't matter. But here it's talking about Nesua that committed adultery, she gets Sreifa, Beish Disarif. So look what happens here. So it says Aviyah by Skila and it says Aviyah by Sreifa. Ma Aviyah Skila Chamur Mesayif. Just like by Aviyah that says by Skila, we had already proven before that the Skila by Madiche, who are the more the greater, who's committing a graver sin, a harder sin? The one that encouraged everyone to sin Avodah Zarah, or the ones that did Avodah Zarah? Madiche. The Madiche gets Skila, the Nidach gets only Cherev. So we already know that Skila is stronger than Cherev. So with this Aviyah that's written by Sefer, we learn out with the Gezeidah Shava that Sefer is also stronger than Cherev. So he says, Skila Chamur Mesayif, Af Aviyah Mesayif, but the Gezeidah Shava, we're going to say the Aviyah that says by Sefer Chamur Mesayif, because of the Gezeidah Shava, that Sefer is stronger than Cherev. So you want to Sefer Chamura Mechanek, we learned that Sefer that is stronger than Chenek. How do we know that? Says you want to shakin in kinit lebas kain shazinsa, because a bas kain that was mezana, what does she get Sreifa? Umay chumer, what's the chumer ketamaram? Because she was mechalal father, she degraded him, that he can't have the first kibbutz. In fact, you want to have the rabba Chenek chomo. Chenek is more harsh. Shakin nit lemaka over beimay. Somebody who hits his father and mother gets Chenek. Umay chumer, what's the azar chumer? So he says shakin hukash gekveidam lekvadam makay. Because it's like we said before, it says Kavidas Abicha, yes, Yimecha. And then it says B'negei today B'shtek Kavidas Hashem Lahinecha, right? So you made the Hekesh Mehinecha. So you compared that it's the same severity when you're not giving kibbutz to your father and mother. It's like you're going against Hashem. So who says that the Sefer is more than Chenek? Maybe it's the same. So from this that the Torah took on Nesua Bas Koyen and said it's a higher degree of a sin than a Nesua Bas Yisrael committing adultery. A Nesua Bas Koyen is a bigger sin. And what does it say? That a Nesua Bas Koyen goes out mechanek l'sreifa. So you see befeidish Shema Milah Sreifa come mechanek. So you have a raya because a Bas Yisrael that committed adultery gets Chenek. A Bas Yisrael, a Bas Koyen that committed adultery, which is a holier level that committed adultery, so it's a greater sin.
What does the man get?
Gets, we're going to get to that.
He's worried about the perpetrator.
The Sefer. She gets Sefer. So you see, Sefer is harsher. Okay, so you see, we're going to talk about it, by the way. So he says Sefer is harsher than Chenek. Okay, says you want a Sayif. Now let's go to Sayif. Herek, Chomer Mechanek. Sayif is even stronger than Chenek. How? Shakein nitlan izar nedachas. Who gets Sayif? The Anshe nedachas. My Chomer. What's the Chomer by Anshe nedachas? Nishno that they get killed. Shakein ma'aminam of that their possessions get destroyed also.
What is it? What is actually Chenek?
Chenek is lead. They put in and it chokes. Yeah.
And what's Herek?
It is a sword. They kill him with a sword. They knock over. Yeah. Okay. So he says you become a head shorter. So he says like this, what's this? Then did they get chenek? Somebody who hits his father and mother, what's the chumash? The covet of a person to the covet of Hashem. So it should be at least equal. So somebody who commits the sin of Avodah Zarah, he's mamish being going against the Eibishter directly. If you're going against your parents, yeah, you're going indirectly against Hashem. But when you're serving idols, you're going directly against Hashem. That's harsher.
And what's the penalty on that skill?
No, they're tzayif, cherev. And by Makkah, V'ima is Chanek. Rabbi Shimon changed the order. Rabbi Shimon says the Seder is, he learns Sreifa is more harsh than Skila, so you go Sreifa first, then Skila. And then he says Chanek is more harsher than Herek. So he learns instead of Herek and then Chanek, he learns Chanek and then Herek. So we're going to learn the whole proof how each one is more harsh than all the other ones, according to the Shita Rab Shimon.
Or can we just say reverse everything already?
It's not that simple. Wait, we're getting there. Sefer Chamurim is Skila, according to Rab Shimon, Sefer is more harsh than Skila. Shekei nit lebaskoyin shezinso. Because who gets Sefer? A baskoyin that committed adultery, she gets Sefer. My chomer, what's the chomer? Shekei him chalal asavia because she was mechal her father. He used to get the first one to be called for Birchas Hamazon, not anymore. Skila is more harsh. Because who gets skila? Somebody who curses Hashem, somebody who serves idols. What's the chumah there? Because he was peshet yad, he went against the Eibishter, and the Amonis of the Amunah of the Eibishter, and the ganze Yisrael from Yiddishkeit, he went against the Eibishter. Rab Shimon Hilchot Hamei. So it says, okay, I'll tell you how. So Rab Shimon says the Oma Achas Bas Koyin Arusa, V'Achas Nesua, whether it's a Bas Koyin Arusa or Bas Koyin Nesua, Yotza L'Yidayin Sreifa. They both come out from a Bas Yisrael, Shezinsa, that gets Chanek.
Nesua also gets Sreifa?
Yeah.
That's what he holds.
Nesua, Bas Nesua always got Seifa. Bas Koyin Nesua, that committed adultery, gets Seifa. We wanted to say Arusa, Bas Koyin gets Skila. Not according to Rab Shimon. Arusa, whether it's a Bas Nesua's, Bas Koyin Nesua, whether it's a Bas Koyin Arusa, they say same price. One size fits all. They both get Seifa. And they don't get Chenek like by a Bas Yisrael. Miskila l'seifa, it says, who gets Arusa Bas Yisrael gets Skila, not Chenek. It's a higher degree of punishment. And then it says, but Arusa Bas Koyin goes out of Skila to Seifa. So you see Seifa is higher than Skila. Shma Mina, Seifa Chamor. So you have an eye that Seifa is more Chamor. So you have another eye, but Fakert, Chenek Chamor. Where do we see Chenek Chamor? Somebody hits his father and mother, he gets Chenek. My chumah, what's that chumrah out there? Shekein hukash kveidem. The Torah compares the covet of the ima of a person the covet amakim. So it's like it's the covet some Eibishter. So it should be at least equal. Sagt die Gemara mit Afkerachman l'nesua bas koyin mig cloud nesua bas Yisrael. From this that they said a bas koyin nesua that committed adultery goes out of the category of the punishment of a Bas Yisrael committing adultery. A Bas Yisrael that commits adultery gets Chanek. A Koyin that commits adultery is safer. Make Chanek less safer. Shma Mina, safe Chamor. So you have an ayah, safe is more Chamor than Chanek. Zog, you want to safe Chamor Misayif. Safe is more Chamor than Cheref. Shekei nitna lebas Koyin shezinsa. Because a Bas Koyin that was Mezana gets safer. My chumrah, what's the azid? The chumrah by a Bas Koyin? Kedamaran, like we said. Arusa is machal the father. The father always got the first kibbudim. You know, the Kohen to Ali is a Sefer Torah, but now she has such a daughter, he has such a daughter, he doesn't get this covered. So you want to add Rabba, Saif Chama. A Saif is more Chama Shekenit Lancheir Anedachas. Ancheir Anedachas, they get Saif and Cherev. And Cherev should be more harsher than Sefer of a Bas Kohen Shedzinsu. My Chomer, what's the Chomer there? Because in addition to getting killed, Shekem Amayim Avat, that all the possessions get destroyed. You said that which chet is more severe? The one that encouraged everyone to sin by the Yanedachas, or the ones that sin? The one that encouraged. So you said koich hamadiyach, oy koich hamadiyach. Who is stronger? So obviously, habi oy hamadiyach, koich hamadiyach, the one that encourages. And what does the madiyach get? According to Reb Shimon, madiyach ir nidachas get chenek. So you see, chenek is more chamad than sayif, because the nidach gets sayif. The madiyach who committed a graver sin gets chenek. So you see, chenek is greater. Now you make a kavachayim. Ma do chenek is chom mesayif because the madiach is getting chenek versus the nidach gets only sayif. Seifa chamur mimano. We already learned that seifa is more chamor than chenek because the bas koyin Nesua goes out from chenek to seifa. So you see, seifa is stronger than chenek. So Sayif Hakal, Cherev, which is even more lenient than Chenek, like Kol Shekain, that Sayif should be more Chama. Of course it should be more Chama. So you want to Skila, Chamur Mechenek. We said Skila is more harsh than Chenek. Shekain, Nitna Lemegadef Leivid David Zara. Who gets a Skila? A person who cursed Hashem, somebody who was David David Zara. So Givaldik Aveira. Like we said before, while his patient the other week, he goes against Hashem himself. He not believing in Hashem and his mamish. Yeah. Like you want to add it up. Just Chenek Chama. Chenek is more Chama. Shekein Nitan Lamake Avivimai. That's somebody who hits the father and mother. Is affecting what my Chuma. What's the Gewaltige Chuma by somebody hitting the father and mother? Says the Gemara Shekein Hukash. Because the Torah compared the covet of kibud of the email of a person to the covet of Makim, so it's like you're going against the Eibishter. So it's also against the Eibishter. So lachera it should be similar. Beta going against the father. So lachera should be equal. So since the Torah took out arus basisol miklal nesua basisol, that arus basisol should get a harsher punishment than a Nesua, because Arusa, she's still in the father's house, so she's causing nezek to the father, Bezoyen. And there she gets, it goes from Skila, goes out of Chenek. A Nesua Basisol that commits adultery gets Chenek. Arusa goes out of Chenek to Skila. So Shmami no, so you see Befesh, Skila is stronger than Chenek. Zok Yimar Skila Chamur Mesayev, Skila is more harsh than Cherev. Why? Sheken Nitna Lemegadev. Who gets Skila? Somebody who curses Hashem and he's able to have a desire effect. You want to add it up, a side chamor. Cherev is worse. Sheken Nitan Lianche Yanedachas. My Chumer, what's the Gefel Chaver by Anche Yanedachas? Says the Gemara Sheken Amayna Avad. Only he gets killed. Not only do they get killed, in addition, the Mamayim gets destroyed. I'll answer you. Which one is a harsher sin? The one that encouraged everyone to sin, or the one who sinned himself? Of course, I'm going to say the one that encouraged everyone to sin. So, and what does the Madiyah get? The Madichim get Chenek, and the Nidachim get Sayif. So Chenek is stronger than Sayif. Kavachema, Ma Chenek Shu Chamir Sayif, because Madiach gets Chenek. And the Nidach, who's a less of a sin, gets Sayif. So you already know Chenek is more common than Sayif. Skila Chamur Mimeno. Skila, which is even more harsh than Chenek, like we proved before, by the from Arusa Basisol, that Arusa goes out from Chenek to Skila. So you know Skila is more, for sure, Saif Hakal, which is the most lightest one, like Kol Shekain, of course, skila is going to be more chama than sayif. So the Gemara, chenek chama misayif. Chenek is harsher than cherev. Shekain nitin lamaka v'beimei. Who gets chenek? Somebody who hits his father and mother. What's so harsh? The sin of maka v'beimei says like we said before, that the kvodim of a father and mother shall basav adam is like going against the covenant of the Eibishter. So at least it should be equal here, just like by Yanadachas says you want to add Sayif Chamor. Sayif is more Chamor. She can need only answer Yanadachas. In fact, you want to what's the hardship of Yanadachas? She came a minor mavad because in addition to them getting killed, their money gets destroyed. So at least at least the punishment of Sayif should be equal to Chenek because both is going against the father. Says we said before, which sin is more severe? Koich HaMadiach, the one that's encouraging everyone to sin, or Koich HaNidach, the one that actually sinned? Have you ever Koich HaMadiach? I'm going to say for sure, the one that encouraged everyone to sin, he is a bigger sinner. Betanya, yeah, Chayto Machnas Haben is right. Betanya, and we learned in the Braisa, Madichei Ir HaNidachas, that those that are Madichim, Biskila, they get Skila. And Shimon Gamil says Bechenek. So you see that Chenek is stronger than Sayif. Because the Madichim are getting Chenek, and the Nidach is getting Sayif. So you know Chenek is common with Sayif.
The Nidach are getting skilly, you said, no?
That's only according to Tanakama. We're talking about now the Shita of Rab Shimon. Rab Shimon says Bechenek. And the Nidach gets Sayif. The one that actually did the sin of Avodah Zarah gets Sayif. So you see Chenek. The Madiach. Correct. So you see, Chenek is harsher than Sayif. So you want to margil of Rabbi Yochanan. It was a custom in the mouth of Rabbi Yochanan. Naira Murasa, Naira who's engaged, she baskoyen. Shezinsa, if she was mezana, she gets biskila. Rabbi Shimon Naima biseifa. Rabbi Shimon says he gets a harsher punishment. Rabbi Shimon held seifa is higher. Zinsa mehavia, if she committed adultery with her father, that's biskila. She gets biskila because Zinsa imavia, she lived with her father. So
also the same thing?
no.
We're speaking, but that's an awkward statement. I mean,
That-
we're not. We're saying the Bas Kain is Zinsa. We're not speaking about Zinsa with her father. It's Michal Zinsa.
No, but she is a Baskoyan. She committed adultery. A Baskoyan Arusa, right? If Shadaya Murasa, if she commits sin not with her father, it would have been Sreifa.
Right. No.
Now that she did it with her father, it's Skila. So which one should she get? There's two punishments. You give Leibadam, that you give the harsher punishment. So the Chachamim hold Skila is the harsher punishment, so she gets Skila. Reb Shimon says no, the harsher punishment is safer, so she gets the safer. But you want to make a
Well, we started with straight. Oh, no, he did. Oh, he went to his Chenek before. What did he say before?
No. Now a new case that she lived with her father. Living with her father is Skila. She Abbas Harusa, if she would have done it with somebody else, it would have been safer. Which one is more harsh? It's two
That's what
punishments.
Shimon says.
Yes. No, what so Rab Shimon says the harsher punishment is safer, so she gets safer. Chachamim say no, she gets skila that she lived with her father. That's the harsher punishment. The Rabbanan, according to the Chachamim, Nesua Bas Kohen, Yotza came out of the din of Chenek Lisreifa. V'lo Yarusa, but Arusa Bas Kohen doesn't go out. Only she gets skila just like Arusa Bas Yisrael. Rab Shimon, Achas Harus Vachs Nesua, both Yotza Lisreifa, both get safer. The time of my, and why Be'emes is it so? So the Gemara says, Mishum the Rabbanan skila chamura. The Rabbanan holds skila is more chamor. So therefore, Arusa is going to a higher punishment by giving her skila. Rabbi Shimon says no. Arusa by staying by skila and not going to sefer is not a harsher punishment. Rabbi Shimon sefer chamura. According to Rabbi Shimon, sefer is more chamor. Says Gemara Nafkamina, the difference will be Lamishin is Chai Shtei Mises Bezdin Nidain Bechamura, like we had before. If the Naira Murasa lived with her father, where you're talking about two punishments, living with the father is Skila, a Naira Murasa is Seifa. So which one are you going to give? So according to the Rabbanan, Rabbanan, you give skilas harsher, and according to Rab Shimon, it's safer. So Gemara, my Rab Shimon, what's the makar of Rab Shimon? The Tanya that we learned in Abraisa. Rab Shimon Aimer, Shnei Klolis, Nemru Bebas Kohen. There are two rules that were said by a Bas Kohen. Side by Nasur Bas Kohen, side by Harusa Bas Kohen. So he says like this: Bebas Kohen, Eloi Bebas Yisrael. Dafka by a Bas Kohen, not a Bas Yisrael. Says the Gemara, Ema, say, Af Bebas Kohen. How do you know Eloi Bebas Yisrael? Say it's Bebas Yisrael, Af Bebas Kohen. So the Braisa continues.
What do you want to say? They're both what?
They both are in the same Geda. That it's Chenek. How do you know that the Arusa, a Bas Kohen, is going to be not together with a Bas in the same category as a Bas Yisrael? Says the Gemara, the Torah excluded Nesua Miklal Nesua. A Nesua that's married to a Bas Kohen that's a Nesua. The Torah excluded it from the Klal of a Nesua Bas Yisrael. Va'arusa, and a Bas Kohen Arusa Miklal Bas Yisrael, which is Arusa. The Torah put it into a higher level of punishment. Just like a Bas Kohen Nesua, the Torah took her out of the punishment of a Bas Yisrael, that a Nesua that was Mizana, that's normally Bechenek, but Bas Kohen Nesua, you're going to put her into a Chamadika La'achmir, a Chamadika of the Sefer, that it's also going to be Beskila. If it's Skila is the harsher punishment, we're going to give her this Skila. According to Reb Shimon, it's the Sefer, and according to the Rabbanan, it's Skila. Now another case. Adam that testified a Bas Kohen Nesua that she was Mazana. So she would be Chayiv Sefer, right? So Bechlal Zaymei Nesua Bas Yisrael. The Adam can only get Chenek. They're not going to get like they wanted to do to the Bas Kohen who gets Sefer. Because this whole limud that a Bas Kohen gets Sefer is a limud just for the Bas Kohen itself, not for the
There's a reason for why she's getting it.
It's a pasuk. So the pasuk was meant only for the Bas Kohen itself, not for the Zermimim. And therefore, Adam Zermimim, who attempted to make her Chayv Misa, but her Misa was going to be Sefer, they are not going to get that Misa. They're going to get Chenek, the regular Misa of a Bas Nesua Bas Yisrael. Zermimim Yarusa Bas Kohen, and the Zermimim of Yarusa Bas Kohen that testify that she's Chayiv Sefer again, and we found Bechlal Zimmei Arus Bas Yisrael. They Bechlal Zimmei Arus Bas Yisrael. They get the punishment as if she was a Bas Yisrael, which would be Chenek, and they will not get Sreifa.
Are we done with this?
Yeah, that's it. We stop here.